Hey, welcome back to Planet Hex. I'm Andrew Horn. This is the channel where I talk about a lot of VHS tapes, retro movies, games, comics, the writing life, a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, there is a lot of VHS tapes going on here, VHS culture. Something I've noticed that there is some discourse going on around the internet, around video stores, and I think this is coming up following things like the Sony story last week with them ending physical games. Also been a lot of chat online about streaming services not being as great as they make themselves out to be. And there is the big thing about the big issue at the moment is about digital ownership, i.e., if you've got a digital version of something, you don't own it. If you've got a streaming service, favorite things can get taken down or vanish entirely. They're not always available in the way you want them. And I'm going to say a lot of us are getting so tired of looking for something online only to find out, no, we need another subscription or another flat fee to watch it. We can't just watch something, like things used to be in days gone by. And I've noticed that there's been mention of video stores a fair bit online, and I think a lot of people are starting to yearn for a different way of doing things. I granted it is down to consumers um, relying increasingly on digital delivery of things and that instant gratification to get a hold of stuff. But I think this is taking something really important away from the enjoyment of this media, and I don't see movies now that are just getting like digital releases having the same sort of longevity as things that we're still watching decades later on physical media. But I am a big fan of physical media, so you know, big fan of video stores, big fan of cinemas. I love cinemas. Big fan of live music, big fan of record stores. These are the things that are familiar to me, and that is one aspect of it is that yeah, it's familiar. So that's something I don't want to lose because as we thunder towards the future, in deeper into the future, it's just getting weird, mate. So we need to hang on to these things as long as we can, as long as I can anyway. Um, you'll always find me championing physical media. But it's not just me, and I'm really pleased about that. But before we get to the stuff about video stores, there's been a couple of cool stories out in the past week or so, such as this one: Watch Stranger Things True 80s Style with a new VHS edition. It's only the first season, I believe, but you can now get the first series of Stranger Things on VHS tape. Why not? I like this. Nerdist take Stranger Things VHS re-release is a gimmick, but actually pretty cool. I agree entirely. It is entirely a gimmick, but with something that is so deeply set in the era that it was set in, and they did a great job in bringing that era back to life. Lots of brown furniture and lots of brown houses. It wasn't all neon, honestly. I think this is a pretty cool gimmick. So that's over on Nerdist.com, and that is a good piece. I would also recommend this one where you've got to do the GDPR thing again. Every time. Pocketlint.com, pocket-lint.com. A story here from VHS tapes to 4K Blu-ray, how every video format really stacks up. This is one for the tech nerds, I would guess, talking more about how things stack up against each other in terms of quality, in terms of durability, and so on. VHS is sixth place, but hard to scratch a VHS tape. It's not hard to scratch a disc. It's a good piece though over on pocket-lint.com. Now, I've got a piece here. Gen Z is buying VHS players again in 2026. Here's why the worst format won't die. So, everything I've been talking about at the intro there is summed up in the subtitle here. Streaming fatigue and surveillance fears are driving a real physical media revival, and VHS is along for the ride. There you go. That's it summed up. Streaming fatigue, huge factor in it. People not getting what they want out of the streaming services and having to pay more and more and more and more to the point where you just give up. You could just go and get a CX or Amazon or eBay, charity shops and find stuff that you want that you can keep for small change. What's wrong with that? But this is a good piece. This is over on fortressofsolitude.com. I'm English. Don't say Z. fortresssolitude.co.za. Talking about, an interest in physical media from Gen Z. Who'd have thought it? But they are discovering that there was a different way to do things and a physical, tangible way of doing things that really pulled you in further than just selecting something on a remote, I think, anyway. So that's a good piece to check out over on designboom.com. This is an odd story, but it is VHS related, and I do find this quite pretty. So, VHS tapes and cassette recordings replace yarn in a woven archive of collective memory. Woven VHS tapes transform obsolete media into a tapestry. How cool is that? I think that's a really good idea. So it's in an exhibition called "In Stories Seen and Heard." Polish artist Kuba Swachiki transformed discarded VHS tapes and cassette recordings into a monumental woven installation. That's such a beautiful idea. Check that out over on designboom.com. Nice bit of video store nostalgia here over on milwaukeerecord.com. Hello to people over in Milwaukee. I'm a Buc-ee's guy, remembering Buc-ee's Super Video, 1986 to 2010. This sounds like a really cool place. This was put out yesterday, June 15th, at the time of recording anyway. And this is a nice look back at a much loved video rental store. And I've seen more of these things popping up online where people are reminiscing about video rental stores, about record stores, about physical things that they could go to and have an extra part of it, an extra experience at. That is the thing that I think that is missing from the current generation, is that you can get all this stuff online, but you are missing the experience, an entire section of the experience that was so normal to us. You're missing that social part. You're missing the experience of going out somewhere and deliberating for hours and looking at, holding the movies and chatting to other people there about what they'd seen and the people that were working there about what they would recommend, and it was a very different vibe. But Buc-ee's Super Video looks really cool. This is a really nice, nostalgic, loving look back at a place that is much missed, and I wholeheartedly recommend this. Of course, I never went there, but there's a lot of love in this piece. That's over on MilwaukeeRecord.com. Interesting one here we've got on GulfNews.com. Inside the 1991 Dubai shop where VHS tapes, Walkmans, and cassettes are making a comeback. That's cool. Streaming almost ended this tiny Dubai store. Now Gen Z and nostalgia are bringing it back. I mean, why not? If you had to continue, I hate websites sometimes. See, if you had to watch something, subscribe to watch something. Do you want push notifications? Just give me the thing. So let me go and rent a movie and get snacks and maybe a second-hand poster. And maybe have a rummage in the bargain bins there. Dudes, you're missing out. These things sound really simple to say out loud, but they were part of an experience, part of the zeitgeist that just doesn't exist anymore. And that is such a shame because you guys are missing out on a social aspect to sitting and watching a movie that, it was special. It was special. And this is why people like me going on endlessly about it on the internet. But that's a good piece. That's over on golfnews.com. We've got here hope1032.com.au. Guessing it's a radio station. But there's a piece here on a podcast that put up a nostalgic look back at VHS memories as Hope Drive listeners share personal stories of family videos, milestones, and moments captured on tape. This is my argument that I've made repeatedly on this channel, that VHS tapes are also historical documents. It was the first time we could easily film things going on as they unfolded. So, personal things that are going on, family events, birthdays, weddings, funerals. Watch a video funeral. But there's also a lot of history captured there, even if it's not something that you've captured as it happens. If you've not captured a big event, you've captured the time around it and the real surroundings around it. These things are valuable and they are important. But this is a nice little piece over on hope1032.com.au about the nostalgia around VHS tapes. And it's not just me, this is widespread. And it is something pure that I do miss. I do miss greatly. So, over on racketmn.com, a Minnesota site, or Minneapolis, my bad, asking, does Minneapolis have a video rental guild? If so, Saturn Video is its newest member. And there's little places popping up, little tiny pop-up places where you can get hold of movies, or swap movies, or rent movies, or bring them along and exchange them. This is a really cool thing to find. And that piece that you can find, like I say, on racketmn.com, it's a good read if you want to delve deeper into what's going on with these little tiny pop-up movie places around the world. Now, we've got phillyvoice.com. This is one of the pieces I was talking about, with a heightened interest in video stores and physical stores. Passing Square, a couple plans to open video rental shop 13 years after the last Blockbuster in Philly closed. As interest in physical media grows, Dylan Wise says he and his wife Kerry are in final negotiations for a space for a little movie store. Why the hell not? Why the hell not? These things don't have to be huge. They don't have to always be open. They can be open for a couple of days a week and offer something to the community. Offer a little focal point to the community where they can go in and talk to someone that knows what they're talking about, choose something, go back and come back and go and come back and enrich their lives. These places enriched my life deeply. The things I discovered in these places, the things I wouldn't have seen otherwise. Things like, oh God, I don't know. There's loads of low budget ones that come to mind, but one that's come to mind is Dark City. I rented Dark City. I didn't see that at the cinema, but I rented it. Oh my God, this is amazing. I would have missed this otherwise. These are important places where you can really enrich your life and deepen your enjoyment and your appreciation of creativity. And you never know what you're going to find in them. You may find something classic and elegant and sophisticated, or you may find something, if the mood takes you, that is utter junk. Everything is just as valid. And that was the joy of video stores as well. So do take a look at that one. That's on phillyvoice.com. Similarly, over on fredericksburgfreepress.com, we've got a column here. Is it time for the return of video rental stores? This is interesting. This is following a survey around 3,000 Virginians aged 45 and above, asked them which stores they grew up with and what they were feeling nostalgic for. Number one was Blockbuster, number four was Hollywood Video. And it goes on from there. A lot of people are missing these physical stores. And this is something that's creeping more and more into my awareness when I'm looking for stories, when I'm researching stuff to talk about on this channel for you guys. It is bringing up more and more that people are missing physical stores, a place to meet up, a place to hang out, a place to be with like-minded individuals. Yeah, I know these things will never eclipse the monolithic streaming services, the gigantic, all-encompassing streaming services, but never forget that there is another way to enjoy the things that you love, that you have more control over. And that is a really attractive thing to viewers and film fans. And on that subject of video stores, I must, of course, mention finally the 80s Video Shop. My buddies in Alfreton in Derbyshire are about to celebrate this coming Saturday their 4th birthday. Now, this was a very silly idea to start with, Rob and Chris, and you've run with it and you've made it a great success. And I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so pleased that you have brought something so joyous to life. As you can see there, that's the main room there, on the cover photo, which is their like the rental store area. There's video games there. There's tapes for sale. There's a VHS museum. So there's like tapes on the spinners and stuff for sale. But these in the main area, these are just for show. So you can experience a load of rare and wonderful movies. And I hugely recommend you visit there. If if you're not in the country or anything like that, you can't get there, please do check out their YouTube channel. Please do check out their page. There's a lot there to enjoy. They talk about movies a lot. They post movies a lot. They have events, and they also have, where is it down here? There's videos. They've also got a pop-up shop, um, which is going to tour the place, which is going to tour around, and that's really cool. There's a pop-up VHS store that's going to come to a Comic-Con near you. Look out for that. Look out for mentions at the 80s Video Shop. This is the store that I was on TV with back in January on This Morning on ITV, and it is a wonderful place run by people that know what they are talking about. They know what they're doing, and they are genuine fans. And respect for 4 years, dudes. 4 years. Well done. I'll be back there as soon as I can. On that note, please do go and check out the things that I've shown you today. Please do enjoy your physical media and do not let it go. Don't let these things die out, because they will if people like you and me do not maintain them. I'm Andrew Horn. Please do check out my books on VHS, the VHS in My Brain books 1 and 2, and there's a new one coming on its way eventually. I promise. Look out for that. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode of Planet Hex.